One night, woke up, arm started hurting really bad. Went to tell my mom. Being a 14-year-old, didn't think that anything was super wrong, probably just cramps or growth. So we waited like a day, and then it got really bad. So we went to a doctor to get it x-rayed, and they said I had no normal structure in my arm. And so that caused the escapade that was the year of my life trying to figure out what was going on with my arm.
There wasn't an explanation for just how much pain he was in by just looking at his arm. You knew that there was an abnormality. You could see some deformity of his arm, but it was excruciating pain. The clinical finding of pain that outweighs the lesion in front of you is very consistent with FAVA, or Fibro Adipose Vascular Anomaly. FAVA stems from a variant or mutation in a gene called PIK3CA. And what it does is it causes overactivation of a pathway that tells cells to grow. It's a signal that is supposed to be tempered with on and off, but is essentially just stuck on. You get overgrowth of material that was never supposed to be there.
I couldn't process that because he was 14 and he looked normal, and for 14 years of his life, he had a normal arm. So when someone tells you there's no normal tissue structure, you don't know what to do.
The pain was constant because it was wrapped around my nerves. It's almost as if every now and then, due to the blood clots, it'd be sharp shooting like knives driven into your arm. It greatly impacted my daily life. It stopped me from playing any sports. Couldn't really hang out and do a lot of activities with my friends and stuff.
When Declan first presented to us, we thought this was initially a venous malformation, but this wasn't acting the same way and it wasn't responding the same way. We had tried other therapies with him initially. When we'd imaged him, he certainly had some findings of what we'd see in a venous malformation, but he also had a little bit more fat involved with his lesion. When we see something like that and these pieces aren't fitting together, that is what had us pointed in another direction. And so we consult with our colleagues around the country, and Boston Children's actually had been working on FAVA.
We determined that he needed a definitive surgical resection of his FAVA and collaborated with a surgical colleague at Boston Children's, Dr. Upton, who had specialized in a very unique procedure where you can replace the muscle completely in the arm with a muscle that's less important in the leg, to ensure that he could still have normal contraction of the muscle.
We kind of held our breath until they took the bandaging off. And when he said, "Wiggle your fingers," and Declan could wiggle his fingers, I think that's really the moment that I felt like, wow, we just had a miracle.
Providers need to know that there are options. What looks to be, a brick wall that you hit can be solved. There are solutions, there are options, but it takes collaboration amongst providers, it takes collaboration amongst institutions to create options that otherwise didn't exist.
I am going to University of Wyoming to study a dual major in mechanical engineering and then energy systems, and I want to master in aerospace engineering. I'm basically perfectly healthy. I take no medication for it. I can just do whatever I want now.